Good morning, guys. It is Saturday morning, the last weekend in September. So typically right now, where we're going into October, we're finishing up the summer garden. Now, a lot of things, and this is, obviously regional. Here, some of our things can grow well into November and even December, depending on the year. But this time of year, we're typically thinking about, and probably most of the country is thinking about transitioning into some fall crops. And if you live in a really short summer climate, you probably started that even earlier than this. But I wasn't thinking ahead, obviously. So I don't have any seedlings. So I went to Home Depot last night and I bought some lettuce seedlings because I have some of those the stainless steel tubs that I have for mostly herbs and stuff. I did buy some romaine lettuce starts. Sometimes you got to do it. You got to go. It killed me though to spend $4 on 6 little romaine seedlings when, you could spend $4 and have hundreds of seedlings if you grow them yourself, and they're super easy. But we have guests coming. I wanted something to be in there. So it is what it is. So that's the introduction. I'm going to take you through the garden today as I go along. Right now I'll just take you, I did some work last night. I had some time and I'll just kind of show you what I did. It doesn't look great, but we're okay with that, right? So let's take a look and then we'll just kind of go throughout the day. I'll check in with you and just show you what I'm doing. All right, in full disclosure, here's all the mess from all the tidying I did yesterday. And basically what I did over here was trim back the espaliers. The apple trees, they put out this long spriggy growth in the summertime. And you want to cut those back to about finger length. And that'll help produce more spurs for next year and all the years after. And then over here with the vegetables, I took out a yellow squash plant that was right there, and it was just really kind of on its last leg. This one here, which I showed you in the last video, I hadn't tied it up, so it was kind of dangling down. So I tied it up. The leaves have already righted themselves toward the sun. I was able to harvest this hefty thing while I was at it. And then this guy right here, he was actually kind of a late, I don't know, I think I planted him way back, but he only came up recently. Well, not recently, but within the last couple months, and was just kind of dangling down here on the ground. So I tied him up, and his leaves are already turning toward the sun as well. Just trimmed some of the dead leaves off of the herbs. I really want to tackle these. These are really overgrown, but I'm going to wait till after Sunday. Pulled some of the beans that were too big to harvest, and I'll save those for seed. All right, so these are the bins or the tubs that I want to put the lettuce in. I didn't get enough, but honestly, $4 for this little thing that doesn't even look that great. Now there's more than one seedling in each little cell, so I might be able to split them up and get a little more bang for my buck. But I'm going to put those right there, and we'll come back to that later. These are just not vegetables. They are sweet peas, the kind you look at and smell, not the kind you eat. But they're one of my wife's favorites. And usually here, if you can get them into the ground and if you can get them to bloom by Christmas, they'll bloom all winter long. If not, they will just kind of sit there until the weather starts warming up in spring. So because of that garden burnout I've had every single year, I have never actually gotten them to bloom by Christmas. And I've almost missed it this year. They say if you get them in September, then it might happen. So we'll see. So you can see kind of the aftermath here of thinning the jungle. It's looking good though. I don't like seeing the hole back to the neighbors. I really like to create a jungle feeling, but I did take out a huge castor bean tree. I don't know if you guys have these. They're grown as annuals in most places, and here they grow into trees. So this has been there for about 3 years. But the seeds that they put out, first they start as these really cool seed pods, which I think are really pretty, but Then they turn into this. But the beans inside, let me see if I can break one open. The beans inside are really pretty. However, they are highly poisonous. In fact, if you know the chemical ricin, that's where they get it. So it's just best to not have these around for dog's sake. No one knows not to bother them, but. So right here is the tomato plant that we are going to work on today. You can see it goes up all the way above and then over. Now there's some blooms up there, so that's why I want to get them down. I'm hoping that I don't break it in the process. They're kind of delicate, especially since they got rained on last night. They're probably full of water, but you can see these are the ones that I've shortened, and then the one that I didn't. They all looked like that. So let's get to work. I'll take you along and show you how I did it. So the first thing I've got to do is just kind of get all the growth from about here down cut off, because that's the part that we're going to weave in whichever way is best for it to weave without breaking the main stem. If we break the main stem, it's all over. So let me do that first. Okay, so now I have the stem pretty much bare. I left this tomato here. Now anything above that, what I have to do is follow the main stem, like I should have been doing all along, but cut off the side shoots. You can go back to my tomato video to show you kind of how to do that, but they're the ones that grow out of the armpit. So I should have been doing that all along, but as we already discussed, I was a little MIA. So I'm going to go through and follow this main stem, take off any of the side branches, and see what we're left with. Okay, so at this point, a lot of the side branches have now turned into full-fledged branches, and some have blooms on them. So I'm going to lose some blooms. I'm not going to make it down to one. I'm going to see what maybe the best two are, keep those, and then remove the rest. It's inevitable that I'm going to lose some blooms, but that's just the way it goes when you kind of let it get to this point. Need to get the loofah out of here. Ow! Dragon fruit have thorns, I forgot. So this is why I told you in the beginning to remove the side branches. In thinking there was a lot of blooms on each branch, there actually wasn't. They were still mostly on the main branch. This is one of the side branches, and out of all this green, we have one flower. That's why we removed the side branches. All right, so following this branch that goes up, I took everything off until we get up here. Now it did split into two right there, and I can't really tell which one is the main branch, so I left them both. They do have lots of buds, so I'm just going to leave both of them. Right now at this point in the season, it's not really a big deal. This is going to be the main branch that we're going to have to now pull down and probably let it kind of fold its way over to this side. To make matters worse, it's right between two pieces of wood, so not going to be easy. So right here at the outer bend is where we're in most danger of it snapping, unless those two pieces of wood pull off the top. So I'm just going to keep my hand here to keep this from bending too sharply. Okay, got it that far. Oh, the suspense. Okay. Now basically I've got to make some choices here of which one I'm going to pull off, because there's one, two. They've all got flowers. Shoot. Well, this one's the smallest, so I'm going to get rid of this. This plant here is not doing so well, so I'm actually going to, I think, broke it. Hey, well, I guess that one's coming off. Stay tuned next year for when I do this from the beginning, and I don't have to worry about this because we'll be lowering the plants all throughout the season. Now I'm going to do the best I can. Okay. So these are the two main. I'm going to take this one off, and I'm going to let these be the main ones that keep growing. So I'm going to lower them down as much as I can. And I'm just going to very carefully wrap these around the string just a couple times to hold them there. That one. There's that one. Watch out, the little side growth there. And we did it, guys. Awesome. Okay. So that gives us a little more growth throughout the season, and I'll keep you updated on how this works. But again, I'm looking forward to next spring to be able to design this trellis in such a way that all throughout the spring we can lower it gradually and we don't have to worry about dealing with this at the end. So maybe not the most glamorous side of this garden, but it has to happen. So while the girls are out there enjoying their snack, I'm in here cleaning out the coop. Lots of fun. However, I do get a nice byproduct out of here. Well, a couple actually. Feathers and poop, chicken poop. Chicken manure. It's great for the garden. Has to be composted because it is a hot thing, not like rabbit poop that you can just kind of put in. So I do add all of this that I rake up, which includes wood shavings, feathers, some dirt that they kind of go through, and their manure. So it's all dry right now, but it's going to go into the compost heap and give me lots of rich compost in the springtime. So now that we've got the coop all cleaned out, it's time to toss in some fresh hay. And don't have to like worry that it's perfect because they're gonna mess it all up anyway and spread it around, so just toss it in chunks. Alright, time to freshen up the nest box. First gotta get the eggs out of here. Use some wood shavings. Okay, so I am going to do a layered planting. And I'm gonna do it in a couple of these metal wash tubs. These metal wash tubs here all have herbs in them, and I've got 2 over here that I'm gonna have lettuce in. And just to help the pollinators and to welcome spring, nothing is more springy than spring bulbs. And I haven't done spring bulbs in a long time. But we were at Home Depot last night and they had a bunch of them, good price. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant the transplants, the green romaine that I bought last night at Home Depot. And I'm gonna have red salad bowl lettuce mixed in. So that'll come a little bit later. But before I plant either one of those, I'm actually gonna plant the daffodils because they're planted really deep. I can plant them, 6-7 inches deep, which is well below the root zone of the lettuce. Lettuce has very shallow roots. So I'm gonna plant those first. Then I'm gonna plant the transplants for the green romaine. And then what I'm gonna do is a trick that I did last year on a video in the fall where I planted some lettuce seeds, and that is use a shaker. And what you do is you take, 10 parts sand to 1 part seeds. You shake it up and then you sprinkle them through. And what that does is it lets you plant those seeds or sow those seeds very evenly and a little more sparse, so there's less thinning. I also bought some yellow double daffodils, which I'm gonna plant with the parsley and the holy basil here, but not until after tomorrow because I'm gonna have to disrupt all these to kind of plant those. And then I also bought some tulips. And tulips are something that you can grow, and I don't know how the rest of you guys do it, but in warm winter climates like ours, they're pretty much annuals. So they bloom, in the spring, and then they're pretty much trash because we don't get winter chill that actually stimulates them into growth and bloom. So we have to buy ours, which I just bought these last night. So you buy them in like October and you put them in the refrigerator for probably 2 months, I think 6 to 8 weeks. So sometime in December, I'll take them out of the refrigerator and I'm gonna plant them underneath the chives. Now the chives bloom in late spring and these say they bloom in late spring. So if that's the case, they might bloom together, and chives have pretty pink flowers. These are pink. And I noticed in this picture, in the background, I don't know if you can see that, there's forget-me-nots. And I've got a ton of those that come up in the front yard every year, kind of wild. So I might dig up a few seedlings of those and plant in here as well. We'll see, it might get a little crowded, but it's an idea. So back in the fridge these go for 6 to 8 weeks, and then I'll be planting them here. So I am dead tired. I'm gonna head in and take a shower, have dinner. But I gotta say, I kind of liked kind of keeping up with things throughout the day, kind of a vlog. I've not really done one of those before. And so it was kind of cool checking in, doing the different jobs, letting you kind of see what I was doing when I was doing it. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like that, and I will do more of that. Just kind of a day in the life, or a day in the garden, actually. And still will do the how-to videos for sure. But this was kind of how-to also, right? I think. I haven't edited it all together yet. It's just been a whirlwind day of trying to get everything finished. But I did, and I thank you for coming along with me. And I'll see you on the next video.